And of course, we know that if you are trying to figure out when Bitcoin is going to stop going up and you're a bear and you're in leverage and you're going against Bitcoin, you keep getting crushed because it's too early to do that. Now, I've given you guys some fresh technicals recently on Bitcoin, and I just want to make it simple for you, and I want to recap. Here's one of the things that we were looking for before we got the pullback. One, I predicted we would get the pullback that we got. Two, I said we would likely come back to the 50% level on the RSI, which could produce a buy signal that it would come down, hit that spot, and begin to push up. That's exactly what happened. And so from a technical perspective, we're getting back to all-time highs. We've yet to print a red candle on the monthly time frame. And one of the points that I made in a recent video is if this month closes with a green candle, and if we close above 73,000, then we have to assume that we're just going to bypass the other pullbacks that would normally come at this point in the Bitcoin cycle, and that we're pushing on to the fourth stage of the Bitcoin cycle, the one that would push us up the highest and the strongest. But we don't have a confirmed buy signal until we close on at least the weekly time frame chart above 73,000. That's the type of confirmation we're looking for, and to double down on that confirmation, it would be a close on the monthly chart above 73,000. We don't have either of those. We came up to this zone, we pulled back, now we're coming back up to test it. We're still in an extremely vulnerable point. But in the next 10 days, we're gonna find out if Bitcoin's gonna take off for the next leg up and leave everybody behind, or whether or not we're still just flirting with the top of the range.
So we're back to 71,000. It's been a tremendous, really what was surprising to me is that Sunday, the volume was so small. On weekends, generally Bitcoin's volume is small, and it was, but still Bitcoin had a big move on Sunday. And then today it followed it up with another move up. Now, interestingly enough, look at this. So we have this channel, right? This channel, these parallels here. And what do we have price hitting the dotted line. I don't know if those at home can see it because it's in blue on my chart, but there's a midpoint right through here, right? And it goes right through here, and that's where price is into. So you are at a little short-term resistance here, but in other words, I mean, if we just look at this, you might get a little check back, but now if we can break above, you could potentially head to the high end of this channel right here. So let's watch to see how it reacts off of this midpoint. Do we get a pullback tomorrow? But either way, it's a very impressive move on Bitcoin, right? Where the stock market's very quiet, yet here Bitcoin is actually having a good day. And I think you got to give Bitcoin credit here. Something's going on here, at least in the short term. Let's see if it has some legs to it to the upside.
I got to ask you, because I know viewers are probably wondering as well.
Yeah.
Is there still that potential that it comes back to,
yes,
you know?
So the short answer is yes. And you have to just, again, there's always
59.
Right, and even lower, to be honest. I mean, so what you look for here is very simply, right? So as long as we stay within this or on top, and again, you can see how you hit it here, and then you bounce, and then you retest it right here, and you're bouncing again. So as a technician, what you're gonna look for is, as long as you hold this line, then you can say, okay, well, it's trading inside of this range, so it could even go up here. But if it breaks this, that's where you start to say, uh-oh, now Bitcoin is in trouble. So you're looking at right now, this looks like it around 65,000 and change. If you close below and confirm, then you've now broken the channel, and you would expect a bigger move to the downside in general. You see this little area right here, that flat line tells me there's support there. And then here is your the spot ETF approval high, and we draw that right across, and it basically gives us a range between 52 and 48,000 as your downside target. But again, that's only relevant if you break this channel and price
confirm it.
Right, you want to see confirm. You know, don't just think, oh, it just got below there for an hour. Holy cow, it's going to break down. You got to really make sure, because again, the institutions just love playing around.
So in terms of the short term, the 4 hour, it's in an uptrend. The daily had been in a slight uptrend here. You can see we got a higher low forming, but we still have not broken past those tops. So technically speaking, it's not an uptrend yet until it breaks out of these tops here, you can see these swing tops coming in at 68,900 and again 68,200. I'm calling it a nice even $69,000 because that was the previous old all-time high. So for at least the short term, you'd want to see Bitcoin get above that and consolidate above $69,000 to attack that all-time high sooner rather than later. That's all that it's suggesting there. So at the moment, it's in no man's land. It's basically just tracking sideways. You have to give the probabilities to the upside at this stage, but I'm still not 100% convinced until 69K breaks. So according to the technicals, 69K is the level. What I'm thinking, that's my view. I would wait to see it get above 69K to confirm that we will potentially see higher prices sooner rather than later. But I've still got the monthly to get through for you guys as well. Just having a quick look at the downside and your price targets there, just based on the charts. The low here is 60,700 and the previous $10,000 bar dropped down to 59,200. So about $1,500 separating it there. That's where my zone is for the daily and the 4-hour chart. If Bitcoin is to break down from that point, well, then you've got a fair bit more open ground to the downside. You've got your 58K, your 56K, maybe even 52 to 53. To get there, it needs to get past 59 and 60. So I'm not saying it will get there. I'm just saying you got to look out for these levels here. If it's able to hold up again, then maybe we'll test the upside. But until it breaks down 59 to 60K, don't expect it to get to the low to mid $50,000.